Saturday at 3:30 on WOUB.
Tonight on Newswatch, some AEP Ohio customers will see an increase in their electric bill. Plus,
at the end of the day, this is about moving our economy in a better direction.
a bill to raise the U.S. debt ceiling faces its first hurdle in the House of Representatives. And some of the world's best spellers compete in this year's National Spelling Bee. Newswatch starts right now. Some AEP Ohio customers will see an increase in their electric bills. Good evening. I'm Connor Woodruff. Welcome to Newswatch. According to the company, rates will be going up by at least 28% for customers who get their power through the AEP Ohio Standard Service offer. Customers who are part of the municipal aggregation or chose a different electricity supplier won't see the same increase. The Ohio Consumers Council is not happy with the price increase, saying it'll hurt families operating on a tight budget. A Mansfield man is facing charges after allegedly driving across the state to meet a 13-year-old girl in Scioto County. Officers arrested 20-year-old Robert Tubbs in Portsmouth early Monday morning after receiving a tip about several juveniles getting into a vehicle with two adult males. According to a news release from Scioto County Sheriff's Office, Portsmouth police were able to pull over the vehicle based on information given by the caller. Investigators say the Lucasville teen had been communicating with Tubbs over Snapchat. Investigators also say Tubbs had sent the victim inappropriate photos before driving to Lucasville to pick her up along with two other girls in Portsmouth. He's being held in Scioto County Jail with a $25,000 bail. A Summit County inmate is found after a manhunt in Akron. Jason Lyle Conrad was spotted in Akron this morning by both ground officers and an Ohio State Highway Patrol helicopter. A brief foot chase took place before he was brought into custody. The 39-year-old escaped yesterday morning while being taken to a doctor's appointment. Authorities say he was handcuffed and in a medical boot from a previous injury when he arrived at Summa Health White Pond Medical Center for his appointment. Conrad allegedly removed the boot and ran off. A bill in the Ohio House would help prevent the government from taking land from farmers. House Bill 64 would give farmers more protection from eminent domain, which is a government process of forcing landowners to sell their property for public use. The bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Rodney Creech and would allow farm landowners to challenge the taking of their property. The bill would also ban the use of eminent domain for trails, delegating the practice for bigger plans like highways and other utility projects. Businesses can now apply for permission to drill underneath publicly owned land in Ohio. This is the first time the state has allowed for drilling under public land. Legislation allowing for drilling underneath state parks and other public land was passed by the Ohio General Assembly last year. Ohio Oil and Gas Association spokesman Mike Chadsey says there's more than a decade of pent-up demand among energy companies that want to drill there. Ohio Division of Natural Resources Director Mary Mertz is warning state lawmakers to be cautious about their revenue expectations. The village of MacArthur broke ground on a new multi-million-dollar bank facility today. The $2.6 million Vinton County National Bank will be located in downtown MacArthur on Main Street at the site of the former McClure's restaurant. The new bank will be 2 stories with 3 drive-through lanes, an ATM, office space, conference rooms, and more. MacArthur is already home to another Vinton County National Bank on Main Street, but it will become solely administrative space. Vinton County National Bank President Mark Ursuline says the new facility will create more job opportunities in its founding town.
We have room for jobs, for one thing, as an employer. We were full in our existing facility, so moving the retail here probably is one of the biggest benefits of this construction.
Ursuline also said that 98 years ago today, the other Vinton County National Bank on Main Street had its groundbreaking. Construction will begin in June and is expected to be completed within the next 9 to 12 months.
Good evening. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. And if not, I hope this weather really picks up your day because right now in Athens, it is gorgeous outside. It's about 85 with clear skies, very, very similar to what we've seen the past couple of days and very similar to what we will see these next upcoming days as the high pressure that we saw over the past 24 hours continues to linger in our area. really creating these clear sky conditions. Now, we also saw the development of a low pressure system around the Great Plains region, and we're going to continue to monitor that. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in this program. But over the past 24 hours, we saw temperatures overnight drop to the upper 50s, so a very comfortable night. And throughout the day today, they picked up into the 80s, creating for some very, very lovely conditions. Overnight tonight, we'll continue to see some mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 57. So another slightly cooler night, but overall, nothing too uncomfortable. We'll talk a bit more about what to expect this weekend and later this week. Over to you, Connor.
It was a wet Memorial Day in West Virginia. Officials in the town of Bluefield estimate 500 homes were affected by flooding after heavy rainfall. One woman said she had to be rescued in a raft due to water in her basement. Others are reporting ruined appliances and vehicles. City officials are working to clean up public spaces while the American Red Cross is going door to door to assist residents. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice is deploying 50 National Guardsmen to Texas to help secure the border. Governor Jim Justice made the announcement earlier today in response to a letter from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Justice says this effort is to help, quote, secure our border, reduce the flood of fentanyl, and combat the human trafficking crisis, unquote. The soldiers will be working alongside the Texas National Guard and Texas law enforcement partners over the next 30 days as part of Operation Lone Star. All the soldiers and airmen sent to Texas are volunteers trying to prevent transnational criminal activity. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice's coal business is being sued by the Justice Department for $5 million. According to the department, the company has repeatedly violated federal laws that oversee coal mine operations and failed to pay fines for those violations. The company has also ignored over 50 orders to stop mining after the violations were found to pose risks to both the health and safety of workers and the environment. Justice is not listed as a defendant in the lawsuit, however, though his adult son, James Justice III, and over a dozen companies the family owns or operates are. The lawsuit comes weeks after Governor Justice launched his campaign for U.S. Senate against Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. The Secretary of the Air Force announced this morning that a former Major General at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base who was convicted of sexual abuse will lose 2 stars and retire as colonel. William T. Cooley was convicted in April of last year for abusive sexual contact against his brother's wife. Former U.S. Air Judge and University of New Mexico law professor Josh Kastenberg says Cooley's lowered rank could change how the U.S. military deals with misconduct from high-ranking officials. Cooley is also expected to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement due to his lowered rank. Coming up after the break, a bill to raise the U.S. debt limit faces criticism in the House. Plus, a new virus poses a threat to the U.S.
We are currently seeing a lot of rain out west, but will that impact us? We'll find out when Newswatch returns.
He took white America by storm, broke down barriers,
to be a black artist and go to the top of the pop charts,
and changed music forever.
If you look at music and where rock came from, he is right in there.
See why there is only one.
That I am the king of rock and roll!
Little Richard on American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead.
There were over 200 westbound ships on the North Atlantic at the time the Titanic sank.
My mother saw a light. She said, look, that light, that ship is coming to our rescue.
The mystery ship thought Titanic would not sink. How could any ship leave a ship, especially of Titanic size, in distress?
Abandoning the Titanic on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
This is a special cub, chosen for life in the wild. But preparing a captive-born panda to roam free isn't easy. Little is known about wild panda life. Meet the dedicated team who spent years shedding light on the wild world this little panda will face.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
A mega ship crashes.
It's one of the largest machines ever created by man.
Blocking a vital shipping lane.
The only thing that ran through my mind was, oh my God.
But what really happened?
As ships get bigger, the margin for error gets smaller.
The shutdown of the Suez Canal creates a backlog.
And if those ships don't arrive, you can shut down an economy.
Nova investigates.
It was calm, and then the wind started coming.
Why ships crash.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
It's a make-or-break day for the deal to avoid a catastrophic U.S. default. The House of Representatives is on track to vote tonight on a compromise bill to suspend the nation's debt limit, among other provisions. But there's discord coming from both sides of the aisle. Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
A compromise bill to avoid an unprecedented U.S. default is headed to the House floor for a vote.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion, but on history, I'd want to be here for this bill today.
The deal to suspend the nation's debt ceiling through January 1st, 2025, struck by President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy over the weekend, would reduce budget deficits by $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Some Republicans praising a positive step.
So now we're in a situation where spending will be coming down, and at the end of the day, this is about moving our economy in a better direction.
A group of GOP conservatives have said the spending cuts aren't enough.
Unless something changes on the bill, absolutely, I'm triple no.
And some progressive Democrats say the White House made too many concessions on federal safety net programs and climate.
This is a package that consists entirely of Republican wish list items.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries urged his party to back the bill to avoid economic disaster.
In divided government, we of course cannot allow the perfect to be the enemy of the good.
Despite discord within both parties, House Republican leadership confident the bill will move forward.
We're going to have the votes tonight. This will pass.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The debt ceiling agreement will have a large impact on the dinner table for thousands of Ohioans. Currently, people with SNAP benefits ages 18 to 49 without children can only be eligible for the program for 3 months, unless they work for at least 20 hours a week. But a provision in the bill would raise those work requirements to 54. According to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, over 80,000 Ohioans between the age of 50 and 55 are enrolled on SNAP. Advocates for SNAP benefits say work requirements don't work and lead to more people falling off the program without increasing employment or earnings. GOP leaders say the provisions would help save the federal government billions and would help businesses find new employees. Another key part of the deal, federal student loans. If the debt limit deal passes, people who have federal student loan debt will have to start making payments again. The Biden administration paused payments during the pandemic and has extended it 8 times. But a provision in the debt ceiling agreement says the pause will end in late August. After that, 44 million people will have to resume payments. There is some concern the process may not go so smoothly. Millions of borrowers could have a different servicer handling their loans since the last time they made a payment. Student loan experts recommend people to reach out to their loan servicers as soon as possible to make sure their next payment gets to the right place on time. The number of available jobs went up unexpectedly in April, and that could impact whether the Federal Reserve raises interest rates again. There were more than 10 million job openings in April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is the first increase in 3 months. The May jobs report is due out on Friday, and the Feds will look closely at that before its next interest rate decision on June 14th. If it comes in hotter than expected, some believe there would be another interest rate increase. Owners of Purdue Pharma must pay $6 billion for their role in the nation's opioid crisis. While many families involved say the civil case settlement is a major step in fighting the opioid crisis, the question of possible federal charges against Purdue Pharma remains. Laura Aguirre has more on the ruling.
Purdue Pharma first introduced the opioid drug OxyContin in the 1990s, promoting it as non-addictive.
The rate of addiction amongst pain patients who are treated by doctors is much less than 1%.
Later studies would show national opioid addiction rates as high as 12%. Since 1999, more than 500,000 people have died from an opioid overdose in the U.S., according to the CDC. Lawsuits against Purdue Pharma and its owners, the Sackler family, started stacking up into the tens of trillions of dollars. To avoid years of continued legal battles and potentially dwindling settlements, a deal was made.
This $6 billion deal will fund treatment and prevention. It gets the Sacklers out of the opioid business. It shuts down Purdue Pharma.
$6 billion goes to several states, Washington, D.C., and other claimants over 18 years. Of that, at least $750 million goes directly to victims and families who've lost loved ones.
Nothing is ideal in this sort of situation, but I think it is the best that we could have gotten.
The ruling allows the Sacklers and Purdue Pharma to settle their bankruptcy, the company calling it the only way to direct billions toward combating the opioid epidemic. The Sacklers will also be immune from current and future lawsuits. In a statement, the family says it's pleased with the court's decision. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Good evening and happy Wednesday to everyone. I hope everyone has been able to get outside and enjoy this beautiful day today. Conditions have been absolutely lovely the past couple days, and we'll continue to see gorgeous temperatures and clear skies for the rest of this week. Right now in Athens, it's about 85 with clear skies and just a calm wind, really just creating a very lovely night for tonight. Overall today we saw a high of around 85 and we'll see a low tonight of around 57 with mostly sunny skies. These sunny skies are mainly due to a high pressure system currently sitting over the Ohio area, stretching up through the New England area, and we're also starting to take a look at what's going on out west. We see a lot of clouds are beginning to form in this region due to a low pressure system currently sitting over there, and a lot of us are worried, is that going to come into Ohio? Fortunately, it is not. We will continue to see this system move up towards the north, missing us, leaving us with some beautiful skies moving into this weekend. We're also starting to take a look at what's going down in Florida with another low pressure system, and fortunately this won't have the similar effect of what the last one had. This will continue to move towards the Atlantic, also missing us, leaving us with continuous beautiful conditions. And we can see that a lot of these clouds are producing a lot of rain across the country. Down in Florida, we're seeing a lot of rainy conditions, and out towards the west in the Great Plains area, a lot of thunderstorms, but here in Ohio, beautiful and sunny skies. Tonight we'll still see those mostly clear skies with a low of 57. It's another beautiful night as we move into June tomorrow with some gorgeous summer conditions looking for us. Tomorrow we'll also see a temperature reach a high of 89, so very warm tomorrow with a low of 56, so very similar conditions overnight to what we are seeing tonight with mostly sunny skies. With a lot of the sun starting to come out, we're going to take a look at what's going on with our UV index. This map shows what we're expecting to happen at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Ohio around this area right along here is sitting at a UV index of around 8. That means if you are going outside, it's best to wear sunscreen and protective clothing as well as sunglasses to protect your eyes from any reflective surfaces that may reflect a lot of that UV index back. Tomorrow we'll continue to see this high pressure system over our area, as well as looking at the rain sitting out to the west and to the south of us, and those conditions are going to remain into Friday. These rainy areas are going to stay away from Ohio moving into this weekend as well. So we'll just see mostly sunny skies on Friday and Saturday, both at a high of 92. So it's going to be a hot weekend this weekend. And moving into the rest of this week, make sure if you're going to be outside, drink a lot of water. We're all used to those spring conditions where it's slightly cooler, but as we're moving into these summer-like conditions, it's going to be a lot hotter, so make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, taking breaks when you need them if you're going to be outside. The rest of this week is looking into the 80s. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Now over to you, Connor.
It causes symptoms similar to the flu and COVID-19, and this little-known respiratory virus has spiked this spring, according to numbers from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's also led to hospitalizations among many of the most vulnerable, like young children and seniors. Amanda Gaither has more on what health experts say is the most important virus you've never heard of.
It's called human metapneumovirus, or HMPV. Little-known virus that's wreaked havoc on the U.S. this spring, filling some hospitals with young children and seniors, according to the CDC.
The symptoms are identical almost to influenza and respiratory syncytial virus.
Those symptoms include a hacking cough, runny nose, fever, and shortness of breath. At its peak in mid-March, nearly 11% of tested specimens were positive for HMPV.
What is most concerning is the fact that it has increased approximately 36% in the last year.
The virus has been around for a while. Health experts believe pandemic precautions like masking kept it at bay.
Now that we've let down our defenses, now that we are not as cautious, all these viruses, think of it this way, where they're just waiting to pounce, and indeed they are pouncing.
Most people who caught HMPV probably didn't even know they had it. Sick people aren't usually tested for it outside of a hospital or ER. Unlike COVID-19 and the flu, there's no vaccine for HMPV or antiviral drugs to treat it. Instead, doctors care for seriously sick patients by tending to their symptoms.
The best treatment is precaution and prevention.
Health experts say that's why it's important to be aware of this virus, especially if those most vulnerable to it get sick.
Monitor them. If they get sicker, for example, if they become short of breath, if their fever spikes up above 100 and 103 or 104, they need to go see a physician.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Because testing for HMPV is rarely done outside of hospitals, it's hard to know the true burden of the disease. There were more than 14 million HMPV infections around the world in 2018. After the break, it's summer break. We have a look at how you can save money ahead of your summer parties. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
This is a special cub, chosen for life in the wild. But preparing a captive-born panda to roam free isn't easy. Little is known about wild panda life. Meet the dedicated team who spent years shedding light on the wild world this little panda will face.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
A megaship crashes,
It's one of the largest machines ever created by man.
blocking a vital shipping lane.
The only thing that ran through my mind was, oh my God.
But what really happened?
As ships get bigger, the margin for error gets smaller.
The shutdown of the Suez Canal creates a backlog.
And if those ships don't arrive, you can shut down an economy.
Nova investigates.
It was calm, and then the wind started coming.
Why ships crash.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
They're some of the best railway adventures in America.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Offering luxury service, incredible views, and a unique experience.
It gives people a chance to relax.
It's a nostalgic look
Look how big it is. It's huge.
at these one-of-a-kind trains
It's like traveling back in time.
The golden age of train travel.
on great scenic railway journeys.
Saturday at 5 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead.
There were over 200 westbound ships on the North Atlantic at the time the Titanic sank.
My mother saw a light. She said, "Look, that light, that ship is coming to our rescue."
The mystery ship thought Titanic would not sink. How could any ship leave a ship, especially of Titanic size, in distress?
Abandoning the Titanic on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
As summer break begins, many people are gearing up for outdoor parties and celebrations. However, with the rising cost of food, beverages, and entertainment, it's important to find ways to save money without sacrificing the fun. Here are 5 money-saving tips for your summer parties.
Whether you're planning a backyard barbecue, a pool party, or a picnic, how do you make the most of your summer celebrations without straining your budget?
Food and home decor and entertainment. Those would be the 3 big areas to watch your budget and really rack in the savings.
Jessica Allen from Living Well, Spending Less has these 5 valuable tips to help you save money on your outdoor gatherings this summer and still have a blast. 1. Make a menu plan and create a budget. Before heading to the grocery store, check what you already have at home, and then make a shopping list and stick to it.
So just plan your menu and decide what your non-negotiables are.
2. Shop smart. Buying in bulk is a cost-effective option. Also look for discounts, sales, and coupons to get the best deals on party essentials. 3. Ditch expensive party decorations. Get creative. Make your own. Look for inspiration online or at local craft stores.
Grab $5 or $10, head to your local discount store, grab a couple of big bright beach balls and just toss them in the yard. The kids will love it, the grown-ups will too.
4. Don't splurge on outdoor furniture. Instead, clean and spray off outdoor spaces and add some fresh plants to give a fresh look. And finally, entertain on a budget. Instead of hiring DJs, Create a playlist of your favorite summer tunes.
People will probably not remember 100% what you put on the table. They will remember the spirit in which you hosted. They will remember the fellowship and the fun that they had when they were in your space.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Shelley Malashi.
Here's a bonus tip. Embrace potluck parties. Instead of bearing the entire financial burden of providing food and drinks, consider hosting a potluck party. Invite your guests to contribute their favorite dishes or beverages. When we return, the world's best spellers are in Maryland competing for their chance at spelling history. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
There's some of the best railway adventures in America.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Offering luxury service, incredible views, and a unique experience.
It gives people a chance to relax.
It's a nostalgic look.
Look how big it is. It's huge.
At these one-of-a-kind trains.
It's like traveling back in time.
The golden age of train travel.
On great scenic railway journeys.
Saturday at 5 on WOUB.
Memory is one of the most important functions of the brain, and problems with it are becoming increasingly more common. In Memory Makeover, I'm going to give you the strategies you need to enhance your memory now and to reverse trouble in the future.
Tuesday at 9:30 on WOUB.
Ready, Steady, Go was one of the UK's first rock and pop music TV shows. The series epitomized the spirit of youthful optimism that gripped Britain in the swinging 60s. It was the only place on television where anything went when it came to performance, fashion, and attitude. Enjoy a look at this iconic music series with performances by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Otis Redding, and more in Best of the 60s. Ready, Steady, Go!
Sunday at 6:30 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead.
There were over 200 westbound ships on the North Atlantic at the time the Titanic sank.
My mother saw a light. She said, look, that light, that ship is coming to our rescue.
The mystery ship thought Titanic would not sink. How could any ship leave a ship, especially of Titanic size, in distress?
Abandoning the Titanic on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, the top spellers in the U.S. and beyond are in Maryland this week, competing in the 95th Scripps National Spelling Bee. They're from all 50 states, as well as the Bahamas, Canada, Ghana, Germany, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, and Puerto Rico. The youngest speller is 9 years old and the oldest is 14. The final round takes place Thursday night and will be broadcast on ION and Bounce. The winner takes home $50,000, a trophy, and bragging rights. Last year, 14-year-old Harini Logan from San Antonio, Texas won in the first ever spell-off tiebreaker. The winning word was morin, which is a bird.
And a quick look at our weather for tonight. We're expecting an overnight low of 57 with mostly clear skies. It's going to be another gorgeous night. Start gearing up for those summer nights. And tomorrow we'll see another high of 89, so a bit warmer than we saw today, but still going to be quite comfortable with mostly sunny skies. These sunny skies are due to a high pressure system sitting over our area, and while out west it looks a little daunting for some clouds that may move through, those are going to continue to move up towards the north and stay away from us. So we'll continue to see beautiful skies and comfortable temperatures for the rest of the week. On Friday and Saturday, we'll see a high of 92, so it'll be a bit warm this weekend, but overall still pretty comfortable. And overnight, we'll see a low of 61 for both Friday and Saturday as well. Moving into Sunday and Monday, temperatures will drop ever so slightly into the low 80s, and on Wednesday into the upper 70s, so still be absolutely gorgeous this week.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Connor Woodruff. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can always find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
When the car ended up having some mechanical problems where it was going to cost more to repair them,